Hello, this is Jasmine, and today I'm using Clip Studio Paint EX, and I'm going to be creating a sort of symmetrical logo design. This is going to be a tribal inspired design of a bear that I got for a commission, and I'm not very familiar with Clip Studio Paint, so this is sort of going to be a learn with me kind of process. I'm sure I do a lot of things wrong in this video, but if you're very familiar with the program and you know a much easier way to do the kind of things that I'm trying to do here, then please let me know. I would love any kind of feedback. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I change the DPI of my scanned image to 600 and the size to 8.5 inches because I really want this to be a crisp, clean design that can be used in a lot of different ways and displayed in different sizes. The next thing you'll see me do is go to the figure tool and I select the symmetrical ruler and I set it to 2 lines. So this is what will allow me to create perfectly even design on either side. So I put this splitting the bear straight down the middle, and then I've really got to play around with the settings because at first I couldn't figure out how to make it show on a new layer when I created a new layer. But I eventually found out that to do that, I need to set the ruler layer to show in all layers. I do that by right clicking it. So once I have that all figured out, I create a new layer and I also create a layer underneath my sketch and fill that with white. And I lower the transparency of my sketch layer. So on the very topmost new layer, I go back to using the tool that's called G Pen and I have the stabilization set at 20. And after that, I just go about doing line work as I normally would. And I use the fill bucket tool to fill it, but it takes me 2 clicks. And if anybody knows why my fill bucket leaves this kind of white line around the edges, please let me know if there's a way that maybe I can fix that. But for now, this is how I've been doing it, and you'll see that I do another thing later on to make sure that all of the fill area is super neat and I don't miss any white spots. Going for a clean line work in shapes like this is not my usual style because as a traditional painter and someone that digitally paints, I don't often utilize a clean line work. I tend to go straight from sketching to laying in color. So you can see that this process includes a lot of undoing because I can't use the eraser tool and have it follow the ruler the way the line work does. For some reason, it doesn't show up as symmetrical. It only shows up on the side that I am erasing. So when you're watching me draw this, every time that the line blinks, that's me undoing and then painting another line and then undoing and then painting another line until I get it right. And that's the most time consuming part of this whole thing. One of the tips I can give when making pieces like this, or really any kind of drawing in general, is to continuously zoom out and look at the image as a whole and make sure that everything looks right. When you're doing something traditionally, you can do this by taking a few steps back and really focusing on the whole of your picture and making sure that there's nothing that seems out of place or that your values are correct. Or in the case of this image, I was simply making sure that the design still looked nice while I was applying these thick, dark lines. Once I have the basic design down, I zoom in really close and I make sure to make the edges as clean as possible. Now, I'm not going to agonize over this for hours, but I like to make sure that if this image is displayed large, that there won't be wobbles and strange lines and strange edges. Once I'm happy with the way that everything has turned out, this is where I make sure that the black is really solid and that I haven't missed any spots. I do this by taking the magic wand selection and I inverse it after selecting the white so that it selects all of the black areas. And then on a new layer, I use the paint bucket tool, and I wasn't sure exactly what I needed to do to make it hit all of the layers that I had selected, but I found out that if I untick the follow adjacent pixel box, then that will allow me to fill in the entire selection with black. And that fills in any little spots that I may have missed. At this point in time, I crop the image and I add some final touches, and after hiding the other layers, this is where I save it as a PNG, and now I think that this piece would make a really nice logo design, and I hope that the commissioner is happy with the work. Speaking of, a quick tip on commission work is that you want to keep in good touch with whoever it is that is getting the commission from you. With this piece, for example, I sent the person multiple emails with different sketches, and they asked if I could combine a couple of them into a new design. So after that, I made 3 more small sketches that combined the others in different ways, and they chose the one that they were happiest with. So in that way, I know that I have produced an image that they will be really happy with because I worked with them and really let them have a lot of input. But it also wasn't too stressful on me because these were simply small sketches that I could send over until I got the right design. Well, that's it for this video. I really hope you liked it, and if you want to, you can subscribe, and I am going to be trying to put out a lot more videos in the future. And thanks for stopping by!